First of all, we have the Proclamation for Fair Housing. Whereas April 2013 marks the 45th anniversary of the passage of Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, commonly known as the Federal Fair Housing Act. And whereas the Idaho Human Rights Commission Act has prohibited discrimination in housing since 1969. And whereas equal opportunity for all, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin, is a fundamental goal of our nation, state, and city. And whereas equal access to housing is an important component of that goal, as fundamental as rights to equal education and employment. And whereas housing is a critical component of family and community health and stability. And whereas housing choice influences people's exposure to crime and drugs and their access to education, employment, social and cultural resources, and health care. And whereas we have enacted laws to ensure equality of choice for all transactions involving housing. And whereas the mission of the city's Fair and Affordable Housing Commission includes researching, analyzing, and recommending to the mayor and council ways in which the city may further fair housing practices. And whereas among the duties of the Fair and Affordable Housing Commission are to review the city code analysis and impediments to fair housing and action plan each year, and to recommend changes as it may deem necessary. And whereas ongoing education, monitoring, and public outreach are keys to raising awareness of fair housing principles, practices, rights, and responsibilities. And whereas barriers to fair housing will only be eradicated through broad-based and consistent cooperation, commitment, and support. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Cheney, Mayor for the City of Moscow, do hereby proclaim April 2013 to be Fair Housing Month in the City of Moscow, and I urge all citizens to support programs and policies that prevent or eliminate discriminatory housing practice. Next, I have a proclamation for recognition for national service. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges together. And whereas cities are increasingly turning to volunteer service as cost-effective means to engage citizens and meet community needs. And whereas service organizations such as AmeriCorps, the Corporation for National and Community Service, the Governor's Commission on Service and Volunteerism, Palouse Clearwater Environmental Institute, and Lewis Clark Service Corps place members and volunteers to help educate tomorrow's workforce, support veterans and military families, protect the environment, aid in disaster recovery, and more. And whereas national service expands economic opportunities through education, job skills training, and leadership enhancement for participating members and for the volunteers they train and manage. And whereas national service participants serve in more than 70,000 locations across the country, bolstering the civic, neighborhood, and faith-based organizations that are vital to economic and social well-being. And whereas national service represents a public-private partnership that invests in community solutions and leverages resources to increase the return on taxpayer investment. And whereas the dedication to community service is lasting and influences future endeavors. And whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service shares a priority with mayors across the country to engage citizens, improve lives, and strengthen communities. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Cheney, Mayor for the City of Moscow, Idaho, do hereby proclaim April 9th, 2013 to be National Service Recognition Day in the city, and I encourage everyone to recognize the positive impacts of volunteer service in our city, to thank those who serve, and to find ways that we may also give back to our community and our nation. This is the first year of this recognition. There are a number of cities, a number of mayors across the country issuing similar proclamations for this occasion. And I think we have some members of some of these organizations I mentioned today. I know Tom Lamar, at least, is here from Palouse Clearwater Environmental Institute, which has been integral to placement of AmeriCorps volunteers. And as you heard me speak about our Fair and Affordable Housing Commission earlier, our city of Moscow couldn't do what it does, especially as well as it does, as efficiently as it does, without the volunteers who serve in so many capacities. Any volunteers from those organizations I mentioned tonight? Would you come on up here and stand here so we can give you a round of applause?
They got their shirts.
spokesperson in this group?
They're all going to point.
They're all going to speak. Yeah.
I wanted it to be a short.
Is that you, Joan?
That would be me.
Joan Alexander is
Yeah,
here
Joan.
to tell us about AmeriCorps. And can we pose for a picture with this group too, Gary? Certainly. Let's see, we might have to huddle up here, so, let's see, we'll have shorter people in the front. That's yours. Yeah? You see everybody? Oh, and Tom's going to get over here too. Oh, no? All right. Okay. What you were doing?
My name is Joan Alexander, and I'm the placement coordinator for the Palouse Clearwater Environmental Institute AmeriCorps program. We have most of the members from the PCEI AmeriCorps program are here, and then we have about 4 from the Lewis and Clark Service Corps program. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming tonight and for doing what you do for our communities. And Mayor Cheney, I want to say thank you for supporting and promoting national service and for recognizing all of these wonderful AmeriCorps members and what they do for our community and our country. So thank you.
Thank you all. We appreciate your work.